Are you ready for the best damn sports radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that that's when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckeister here with the Man Hour. Hold over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Check out the blogs. And if you're going to miss any part of the show whatsoever, you can download us on iTunes, Spotify, and, of course, iHeartRadio as well. Of course, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. But let's welcome the birthday man himself. Apparently 30-40. He said 40 is the new 30 or some crazy crap like that pre-show. Combs, happy birthday, man. What is going on? How's your day going so far?
Thank you. Day's gone great, man. It's been a roller coaster for me in the personal life over the last week and a half or so. Yep. But today was a good day, man, and culminated at the end of the day with some Cubs tickets. So I'm pumped.
So we are in a group chat, like us three, me, you, and Wyatt, and then of course Tori, our backside sales producer type person over there. What title is Tori? VP, CEO, the leader of the brains?
I don't know, but if he keeps talking crap about the Brewers and the Packers, I'm going to call him a whole bunch of different names.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, it is what it is. But let's go ahead and get this party started off right, Combs.
Oh, Jesus.
If everybody sings it for us, it'll be awesome, man. Yes, sir. Coco Melon, happy birthday. But last week, right, on the 18th, and he is a Coco Melon freak, man. Like, I can play that sound, like, on my phone, and he'll come sprinting from the other room into the bedroom, like, and look up the TV. He's like, Coco Melon's on? Coco Melon? Coco Melon?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
I don't know what it is, man.
The young ones, they love the Coco Melon.
Yeah.
And they love the, as Michelle says, Evan is singing along with it.
Love it.
But no, my little guys were huge into Coco Melon, and then they got into the YouTube. You could just look it up. It's
Pink Frog.
Counting with cars and stuff like that,
yep.
And they've got all sorts of different like little, and it's some of the like you sit there and you watch it. I'm like, oh my god, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But then like all of a sudden, your 2-year-old is like red, and then counting to like 4. And then all of a sudden he's counting to like 20 and he knows 17 colors and you're like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like I don't know, like if it's the sounds or the the colors, but man, my 1-year-old just like he like zones out, man. Like it's almost kind of scary, like how much they can zone out by watching that, right? Wow, it just
absolutely.
It is absolutely mind-boggling to me. But Combs, welcome to 40-year-old. BC Combs here, like
I don't feel a day over 62,
man. But I can tell in your beard, man, you've matured like overnight, like from like last Friday, like until now.
Buck,
matured.
One thing about me, buddy, I'm never ever going to mature.
Yeah. Welcome to. So me and Cindy actually just had this conversation. So like. When the kids are like after the show, we do the after show, and we're usually pretty excited still, and it takes time to like wind down, right? So I go inside and I do the dishes, take a shower, and I'm walking around the house with no pants on. Just you've done the helicopter dance, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm sitting there doing the helicopter dance, and I have the little sprayer from like the sink, just doing the dishes.
Yeah.
And like she's like, "What are you, like 16?" I'm like, "I'm actually 12," because my 16-year-old self wouldn't be able to do this at all. Doing dishes.
If Michelle's still watching right now, she's dying laughing right now because I do the helicopter like once a week.
Yeah, I mean, it is a sign of your manhood.
guy
Like,
thing.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, like if you can get it, like, so first of all, it usually takes about 6 or 7 rotation of the hips, like really get it, like in the groove, right? But then,
Right.
like once you start going, man, you're like, hey, come look at this.
Yeah, but see, I'm Irish, so it's more like a pinwheel than it is a helicopter. But still, same idea.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. But it is the hashtag no comment. It is your birthday, and some things happened over the weekend. Yes, you went to Outback. Yes, you got some tickets to the Brewers game. Sorry, the Cubs games. Yes, you got a kick-ass LED light. That is the most awesomest LED light I've ever seen ever. But
Well, I'll have it hanging up here in the background soon.
IU fans, they got their guy. Mike Woodson from the NBA hired.
Did they?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the like I do know it was a 6-year contract. But I believe it was like $60 million, so roughly $10 million a season. We are going to dive a lot deeper into this when like Wyatt, joins the show because he, if you guys were following him on Twitter at manhour_TWW, he was going off on IU fans. Like I don't know what his love session with like IU fans, but he was like letting them all have it. But do you think this is a good hire at all for IU?
No. I mean, they wanted Brad Stevens, and then they end up with, I mean, look, this guy. Maybe he turns it around. Maybe he's just, maybe that's the voice that they needed. I don't understand the hire whatsoever. They could have taken their time. They let the season finish up, take your time, and find the right guy because IU basketball has been suffering for far too long.
Right.
And with this hire, I kind of feel like they're going to continue to suffer for a little while.
Yeah.
And so I don't like the hire at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I am kind of in in your boat here. Like, hey, like the recruiting process is kind of over for like next year. Like, anyways, like take your time and like really, evaluate the situation. There, like at the time, there's still 16 teams playing in the March Madness tournament that you could have very easily got one of their coaches from, right? Since, IU is the mecca of college basketball, as the IU fans like to say. I'm not trying to poke fun at IU fans, but they came at me hard. Like, they're like, hey, yes, we basically they said that I have no room to talk because I am a Kansas State basketball fan. I'm like, but we know where we stand. We know that we are not the mecca of college basketball, like at all. We are happy with Bruce mediocre Weber over there, and like that's why we gave him a 7-year extension. So I feel like IU and IU fans need to realize, hey, we are not a top program anymore. We need to rebuild. We need to restructure everything. And is Mike Woodson the guy to restructure everything? I don't know.
Well,
probably not. But
he's been a head coach in the NBA. His record is less than stellar. He's a 315 and 365 career record in the NBA. 18 and 28 in the playoffs. So
he made the playoffs, all right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could go there. I feel, and this is probably going to get some backlash and some bad, feedback, and I'm probably going to get added a whole lot for saying this. I feel like this was a 2021 hire of let's get the first black guy that we can hire. Because I don't it just makes no sense. That is the only thing that makes sense as to why they pulled this trigger so quick on this guy. This guy's he's never even coached in college.
Right.
Like
he did play in college, all right. So that gives him some cred.
And he played in the NBA a little bit as well. But I mean, I don't know. I don't like the hire at all. I feel like it was just a rush to, hey, this is where we're at in 2021. Let's try to make everybody happy. And
do you think maybe since they didn't get Brad Stevens, like they're like, hey, let's make a move as fast as we can, so people don't realize that we really wanted Brad super bad, and we're like, hey, Mike was in our like our eye the whole time.
I mean, he's alum of Indiana, and so they've got a leg to stand on there by saying, hey, we hired in-house, we hired one of our own, we hired somebody that, we feel can turn this program around and we feel is dedicated to IU basketball. However, you hired somebody that nobody else was going after, and you gave nobody else a chance to interview for the position. That's, and Drew, why you got to come at me on my birthday, man? He said maybe the Bears should hire him. What? Why you gotta come at me on my birthday? If the Bears hire him, it's to play quarterback. By the way.
So one thing that Wyatt did say, we talked about this right after Archie got fired. He said that IU always wants a IU guy, meaning like a guy from Indiana or a guy that went to IU. Obviously, Mike Woodson fits that mold. He went to IU, but looking at it, like at what point do you gotta like kind of like reach out to other parameters? Like look at people from Kentucky, look at people from Illinois. Heck, I don't know. Look at people from Kansas. I told somebody there's a great coach in Kansas right now that would fit the IU mold perfectly. And I wasn't talking about Bill Self or Bruce Weber. It was a Wichita State Shocker coach that they just hired. He would have been a great fit in IU, but nobody wanted to hear that.
And that's the thing too. Like I'm not like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have hired a black coach, or they shouldn't have done this, or they shouldn't have done that. I just think they should have taken more time. I think that they rushed and got somebody. Like it was almost like, oh my God, we have to hurry up and hire this guy. But why? Nobody else was going after. He was on nobody else's radar. Like there were no other job offers for this guy. I guarantee you, there was nowhere else he was going to go. Tori Anderson chimes in and says, however, to IU's credit, Wisconsin had not been to the tournament since the Stone Age and hired a mediocre NBA coach, Stu Jackson, and he started their turnaround.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like you always got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. And you've got to be able to recruit. I mean, maybe this guy is going to be different than he was in the NBA. It is a very different game coaching college to pro.
Right.
Maybe he is suited for it, but just off the bat, on paper, it's a head scratcher. It really is.
So I want to clarify what I said earlier, like how I didn't know, like I thought the college recruiting was over, so they can actually recruit until May 31st. Is like when recruiting is officially over. So maybe IU had in the back of their head, hey, there are some great guys in Indiana that we want to try to steal, i.e. Trey, i.e. Cooper Jacoby, guys we both had on the show. Colby Barnes is in the transfer pool. Jake Highbreeder has been on our show too. So maybe IU thought in the back of their head, hey, if we get a coach that has been in the NBA and quote knows the NBA talent when he sees it, maybe this will get some of these kids to decommit and go to IU. Do you think that had any aspirations into it?
No, I think the big thing here was for them to hire one of their own. I think that's what they were at. That's why they were after Brad Stevens so hard, because they felt Brad Stevens had IU in his blood, and that's what they were after. That's the thing here, is that it just felt like they were trying to do an internal hire, which is fine. Right. I mean, it's fine, because especially in college, you want somebody who knows the program, and you want somebody who knows the tradition, and you want somebody who loves the school just as much as you do to be coaching your team. So I do understand that part of it. Just on paper, man, it's just a head scratcher. I mean, you look at the numbers, you look at his record, you look at his resume, and he would have been there in July.
Yeah, but possibly like I'm simply playing devil's advocate here. Possibly though that those high school recruits, that obviously wouldn't be there in July. So
yeah,
only time I will tell if some players do decommit and go to IU. I don't see it happening because let's be honest, there's at least 6 other schools in Indiana alone that I would rather go play for than IU right now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, 100%.
So, guys, coming up here on the Man Hour, we are going to talk some NCAA basketball here. The Pac-10, were they the most slept-on team in the tournament? 17-game NFL season. And the 49ers make a huge splash in the offseason so far. Jumped up to pick number 3. What are they going to do with that pick? Find out more right here on the Man Hour, guys. We'll be right back.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheit along with Brandon Combs tonight. Wyatt Williams is on vacation enjoying spring break up there in Columbus, Ohio, home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. And our man, Zim Olowski, is up there. We need to bring him back on
He's
ASAP.
on vacation.
Yeah.
Are you sure he's enjoying it, though?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's on vacation with his other half, with his girlfriend. So
Yeah.
he's enjoying some part of it.
Let's face it,
I mean,
though. He'd rather be here with us.
Oh, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
Wyatt actually just texted me right now saying, have a great show, boys. So, I mean, like, Wyatt is the most humblest, down-to-earth kid, and I am glad he is a part of Man Hour Nation. As we are glad that each and every one of you guys here in the comment section is on part of Man Hour as well. So, we got tight on break there. Combs, I want to address some of these comments before we jump into the college basketball talk here. Tori Anderson says, however, to IU's credit, Wisconsin had not just been to the tournament since the Stone Age and hired a mediocre NBA coach, Stu Jackson, which started the turnaround in Wisconsin. So basically, Tori said that Wisconsin had a little bit of traction, maybe on their turnaround.
Do you not listen when I go through the comments? Because
I
I
did.
went through that comment last segment before the break.
Did you? My bad.
I did. My
What
goodness.
What about this one? Mrs. Smith says, I agree. They rushed, but I'm going to say hopefully that will be a fresh start that we needed.
And it very well could be, Penelope. It's one of those things where it very well could be a fresh start. It could be a good hire that we just don't see coming yet.
Right.
An early reaction, though, has to, even IU fans, it has to have you scratching your head. There's going to be those IU fans who just love IU, and they're going to be like, no, this is our guy. We hired
Right.
great. This is a great hire, and you'll never get him off of it. But for everybody else who can see reality and can see both sides of the fence and who could stay, not objective, it's a head scratcher.
Yeah, and a one of the biggest head scratchers for me is as a Kansas State fan is when Frank Martin left. We hired a coach by the name of Bruce Weber. Coleman,
Yep.
You should probably know him from the Fighting Alumni.
Yep.
He, quote, took them to the national title, although he inherited that team. And then once he built his own team, it was complete trash. And he's like, I'm out, right? He did the exact same thing at K-State. He led them to the Elite Eight. Once he built his own team, they're 6-25 now. So, I mean, on the bright side, IU can't get much worse than what they are, like as far as, tanking and, being horrible. So maybe Mike Woodson is just a guy like they need. And like as Tori says, I think they hired a IU alum just that has an NBA pedigree.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, hopefully for them it's a good hire because, look, let's just face it, IU is one of those teams where when they're good, college basketball is just more fun to watch. And they are of that ilk. They are we need to get IU back into it. We need to get UConn back into it. We need to get all these schools back to be good again because Duke not making the tournament this year is just, North Carolina, these guys need to get back to the top of basketball again because basketball is just more fun to watch when they're good.
So on the other hand here, like Drew, I'm going to take your comment here and I'm going to kind of twist it around a tad bit. I believe that the NBA is doing away with you have to spend 1 year in college or out of high school to then come to the NBA. This might hurt IU even more now, just because I think they hired Mike to get those one and done players to come to IU, but now you got to recruit those 3 and 4 star guys and build a team for the next 3 or 4 years. So I think that hurts them in the end, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that take at all. If they're really doing away with the one and done rule, which I think is true. I think if they do away with it, they need to make these kids go to college for 2 or 3 years, just like the NFL. Like to let these kids come out at 18, it's just I get it. I understand. Some of them. I understand the argument for the other end of it. I understand these kids deserve to earn a paycheck and do their job and all of that good stuff. I get that part of it, but on the other end, look. For the very few, and I mean very few, that can come out of high school and make it in the NBA, it's just not worth it to sacrifice because if something stupid happens, look at the Derrick Rose situation. Start blowing out both knees, and all of a sudden you're a journeyman in the league.
Right.
It just. You should have something to fall back on, and I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in that these kids need to go to school for more than just 1 year because that has ruined college basketball more than anything. I think
the one
I
and
really
done?
do. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's put a pin in that conversation, just because I think you and me have two totally different views on that, and me being an ex-college athlete, like myself. I get really worked up about that, and I'm getting closer to 40 each and every day, so I need some blood pressure medicine. So if you could send some down, then we can have that conversation. But let's go ahead and keep in the college basketball realm. The Pac-12 now, correct me if I'm wrong, Combs, but they are 12-2 in the NCAA tournament going into the Monday night games. Obviously, there's a couple big 12 or Pac-12 games there, and then of course we have some on Tuesday night as well. But as of Monday afternoon here, they are 12-2 going into tonight's games. Did we sleep on the Pac-12 in this tournament?
I think we did, and it's funny because when we had Kobe Barnes on, he was talking about the Pac-12 and he was talking about the pedigree of the Pac-12, and we kind of snickered at him. You remember? And it was one of those things. But look, UCLA as an 11 seed. I mean, they went through BYU. Yes, they got to break that Abilene Christian, upset Texas in the first round, so they got to play Abilene Christian in the second round. But I feel like they probably would have beat Texas too. And then the way that they handled Alabama, after Alabama came back and forced overtime.
That was a great game, by the way.
Oh, it was. It was an insane game. But then they go out in overtime and just dominate and win by 10. Like, it was one of those things. And then USC. I mean, USC went through Drake, who I picked Drake in the first round. And then Kansas, we thought Kansas was going to be one of those teams that makes a deep run.
Yeah.
And then the way they beat a hot Oregon team. And now, I mean, I wouldn't bet all my chips that Gonzaga's going to beat USC, because I would not be surprised if USC pulls that one out.
Right.
So I don't think that they had an easier road. I do think that they we just slept on them a little bit. I think that we overhyped the Big Ten and we underestimated the Pac-12.
Yeah, I mean, let me be on emphasis that first things first is they play here on the East Coast. Like, their games start like 11, 12 o'clock at night. So to like me, that is absolutely ridiculous. Like if you want a primetime game, do a tip off like at 3 or 4 o'clock. So it is prime time here in the East Coast, because most of your tournament committee guys, most of your pollers, etc., are all here on the East Coast. Some of them which are in the Central and like Texas and like Iowa area, but majority of them here are on the East Coast. So they've been kind of getting the snub like all season. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think they started their season like a month after than like everybody else too. So like they were kind of playing catch up mode the whole time. But if you look at their rankings and their seedings, the only one that quote had an easier route was Oregon, and that was simply because VCU could not play their first round game because of the COVID issues. And then but then Oregon came out and waxed a very, very good Iowa team. So to say that Oregon had an easier road, I'm going to backpedal on that, because Iowa, I had them winning this whole damn thing, and for Oregon on their first game out in the tournament, beat a number 2 seed team in Iowa by 15 points. Yeah. When Aluka still had like 36 points. I mean, like they let the kid eat, but they shut down the rest of the team. I mean, Oregon was doing something right, and then USC, yes, they beat Drake, which is not a upset by like any means, but then they waxed that Kansas Jayhawk team, 85-51. Combs. That was that game. That game tipped off, and Jayhawks were like, "I don't want to play. Like, we're done." Like they did not want any of that. But then let's look at the number 12 seed over here, Oregon State. First game they played was against number 5 Tennessee. Beat them by 15 points. Then they beat an Oklahoma State team, which in my other bracket I had Oklahoma State winning it all. They beat them by 10. And now they got to play a very, very good Houston team, which at the time of this recording here, they're losing by 15 points. But Oregon State has been the comeback kings like all season long. So
they need to do it tonight too, because they're getting handled right now.
Right, but like the Pac-12 has not had an easy route whatsoever. I would go out on a limb and say they've had the hardest route because of their seedings, because nobody has seen them play, and it is so their seedings obviously got like lower, and it's just they easily had the hardest slate of games hands down.
Yeah, Oregon State. I mean, like you said, I mean, Oklahoma State, Tennessee, and then to beat that Loyola Chicago team, which good. They just play. Yeah, and they play great defense. They don't score a whole lot, but they play great defense. You put up 65 and you win that game by 7. That's a good win. Right. And I mean, they're playing against Houston now, but it's this team is one of those teams where, like I even said, we're going to see a 12 seed go to the Final Four. It'd be the first time ever. So
it's there,
man.
Right.
I would love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it.
And then one game that I forgot was UCLA. Yes, they got easier route by, Abilene Christian beating Texas. But you guys forget they had to play Michigan State, a Tom Izzo coach Michigan State, to even get into the tournament. So they have an extra game above everybody else, and then they beat Alabama in overtime. And
a Michigan State team, by the way, that had just come off of wins against Illinois, Michigan, Iowa, and Ohio State in like a 2-week span. So
which they were all in the top 10, right?
Yeah, they ran the gauntlet, and then UCLA just they've been hot. They give them credit. They didn't back down to anybody. They didn't care about anybody's seed. They didn't care about how good anybody was talking about how big the Big Ten was. They came out and did their thing, and win, lose, or draw, the Pac-12 came out and balled out in this tournament. And we said, Wyatt and I both, and I think you were a part of that too, we said this is one of those brackets that's going to be the hardest to pick because of the parity in the sport right now. The parity is ridiculous.
And I would go as far as say maybe not even the parity, but the fact that we didn't get to see like a whole lot of basketball, right? Meaning games got canceled, moved around. Many teams played on the same night, so you didn't get the Super Tuesdays, the Big Mondays, and all that stuff. So the seedings were all kind of skewed as well. I mean, people came out and said that the Chicago Loyola team should have been a 3 or 4 seed. And you put them at 8, and then it just, I don't know, it is absolutely crazy to me. But looking at the 3 teams that are left in the Elite 8 on this Monday night here, you have USC, you have Oregon State, and UCLA. Do any of those teams make it to the Final Four, Combs?
What were the 3 again?
We have UCLA, Oregon State, and USC.
Yeah. I believe they do. And to be honest with you, God, I wouldn't be surprised if 3 of them make it to the Final Four. Even seeing with what's going on right now,
right?
I could definitely see 2 or 3 of them definitely going. At least one of them. I feel really good about USC versus Gonzaga tomorrow.
Yeah,
I really do.
They looked really, really good. USC did, but I can only see 1. But probably 0 at the end of the day because Gonzaga looked really well too. But Michigan, they are starting to click. I said if Michigan makes it past the second round, they have learned how to play without their top guy, and they will be in the finals. And I'm still sticking by that. I see Michigan going to the finals, and Houston's a really, really good team too. So there are some really, really good teams left. But the Pac-12 has to run the gauntlet to make it, and I think they're built for it 100%.
These West Coast teams, man, they're running it right now. You got Gonzaga, USC, Baylor.
Right.
I guess you can't really consider Arkansas West Coast, but you got UCLA, Oregon State, and Houston. I mean, these are all West Coast teams. And so
Texas is the West Coast now? Get out of here with that.
Oh, Texas is pretty much the West Coast. Might as well be the West Coast.
Texas is their own coast, man. It's the Texas
their own coast. The Southwest coast. How about that?
Right. There you go.
But yeah, I mean, these are all teams that are from, the western side of the country at least. And these guys they're really, they're dominating right now.
One school I do not see, or one state I do not see in there is Indiana. So hopefully they can step up their game, since Mike Woodson is going to be their Mecca and lead them to the promised land.
Indiana State, Valparaiso,
Ball State.
Purdue. Calling all guards.
So speaking of the West Coast here, Combs, the San Francisco 49ers, they made some huge moves this weekend. I believe it was Friday night into Saturday. They made a trade with the Miami Dolphins to move up to the number 3 spot in the NFL draft that is just a month away now, 4 weeks, 30 days away till the draft starts. So the 49ers have come out and said that Jimmy G is their guy. There's no interest in trading Jimmy G whatsoever. So, Combs, why would you move up to the number 3 seed or to the number 3 overall draft pick if you have no intentions of drafting a quarterback and Jimmy G is your guy? What is really going on in San Francisco?
This is that worst kept secret in the world that the 49ers are moving on and are done with Jimmy G. Everybody knew it last year. Everybody knows it now, but they keep saying all the politically correct stuff. Jimmy G is our guy. We're going to keep Jimmy G. We're going to keep doing Jimmy G this, Jimmy G. Jimmy G is not their guy. They're going to move Jimmy G. I believe it was Drew who I sent a meme to because him and I were talking about this, and it's a meme and it says, we are not going to trade Jimmy G, and it's then the picture is a girl giving a huge wink, it's comical at this point. There is no way that Jimmy G is the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers next season. There's no way. It's not going to happen. They are either drafting a quarterback or they are going to use these draft picks and trade for a quarterback, whether that be, maybe they moved up for this pick so they can make a run at Deshaun Watson, even with all of his stuff going on. Maybe that's why they went out and got all these picks. And
speaking of which, girls 18, 19, and 20 have come out. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, good for them.
Pretty soon he'll be old enough to
Did they
drink.
come out like this?
No, it was actually they actually had their purse completely open and they already had Louis Louis Vuittons unzipped and everything.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah. That makes sense. But no, I think that it is a possibility that Deshaun Watson ends up in San Francisco right now. It's a very real possibility.
Wow.
So
Jameson would be on cloud 9 if that were to happen. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I could see Deshaun Watson there, but I could also see them holding on to it and saying, "Hey, look, we're coming in and we're jumping ahead of the Falcons now. Maybe they're the front runners for Zach Wilson, or maybe they're the front runners. Or maybe it's Trey Lance is their guy too. That's another thing that I'm hearing is that they really like Trey Lance. They don't feel like he'd be available later in the draft. Maybe they're moving up to take him. I think that is a Bears type trade up, to get Trey Lance because I think he would be available later. But you never know what's going to happen. You never know what they're going to do. I feel like that move was a move to go ahead and get Jimmy G, or Deshaun Watson. But on the same end of that, maybe that move because now the Dolphins got I don't know how many picks.
30 picks in the next 3 years. It's crazy.
And so maybe that was their move to go ahead and get Deshaun Watson because they've been rumored all along to go after Deshaun Watson. Maybe this was their way of going to get Deshaun Watson by getting more draft picks so they can trade most of them, but still have some. They're still going to have plenty left in the tank, even if they do trade for Deshaun Watson. So it's interesting. It's very interesting to see what is going on. As Drew says, I think Jimmy is there one more year. Smith, Mahomes, and
that's exactly what I was getting ready.
No way Jimmy G is there this year. No way.
So, as you see the hoodie that I'm wearing, rolling with my Mahomies, you guys know all who the Mahomies are. So Kansas City Nation, stand up there. Chiefs Kingdom, #. But
all three of you stand up.
Yeah, all 300,000 of us stand up. But nonetheless, I have been reading that a lot, saying that. Who was the 49ers general manager? What's his name? The white guy that played safety for the Bucks. Come on, man, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about yeah, God. Why do you do this to me?
You know that guy.
Yeah, I know.
So rumor has it that Kyle Shanahan and the GM for the 49ers was at Trey Lance's pro day.
God, what the hell is his name now? It's going to bug me.
Yeah, it is. It's not Jason Sehorn. John Lynch. There you go. Yeah. No, John Lynch is for the... No, yeah. John Elway is for the Broncos. So John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan...
Anderson, I beat you to it.
They were at the Trey Lance's pro day. And many people saying that, so Trey Lance just played one football game last year before COVID shut down their season. So he's played a total of 18 or 19 college games. So Trey Lance is the quarterback that when you draft him, he has to sit for a year to learn the game more, right? And Many people are saying this is a Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith scenario in San Francisco. They keep Jimmy G for one or two more seasons. Let Trey Lance grow up and become that guy. But correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't the 49ers sitting at the 6th overall pick anyways? I thought they were. Like I thought they were sitting like 6 or 10 or something right around that range. And Wyatt, our draft expert himself, basically had Trey Lance as the 5th best quarterback in the draft. So in theory, he would have probably fell down to the 49ers one way or the other. So why move up if you want to have a quarterback sit behind your guy all ready for a season? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Then I'm hearing people say Mac Jones is going to the 49ers.
They had
why?
the number 12 pick.
Or the number 12 pick. So
Yeah.
they probably could have moved it to like 10 and probably still got Trey Lance, I think. But to move up to number 3, I feel like you are going to draft a quarterback ready or a NFL quarterback ready guy. Justin Fields. Who else is there? The guy from BYU, Zach, was what I'm talking about here. BYU quarterback, his name's always slips my mind.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yep, there he goes. Zach Wilson. So one of those two quarterbacks is going to go to the 49ers, whichever one is on the board at number 3 overall pick. And I think Jimmy G is going to go to the Patriots, man. It has been rumored, and yes, they have Cam.
It makes
Newton,
sense
yes,
for
they have
both
Jared.
sides.
They have Jared Stidham, and the Patriots never draft a quarterback in the first round, and they need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Why not get Jimmy G? He excelled there.
It never fails that when the Patriots, you finally feel like the Patriots are done and they're gonna have to rebuild, they find a way to freaking come back.
Yeah,
and,
never fails.
And Jimmy G would be that way for them to come back. Jimmy G to New England makes so much sense for both sides. He knows the system. He knows Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick loved him, wanted to trade Tom Brady and keep him. So,
Allegedly.
that led to the reason why Tom Brady ended up leaving New England. I guarantee it, because I think that hurt his ego a lot. I think that them wanting Jimmy G, as I see Hoffy here backstage being a goofball, Jimmy
I hope
G.
his camera freezes.
They wanted Jimmy G to stay in New England, but Robert Kraft was too loyal to Tom Brady to do so.
Right.
But it makes all the sense in the world for Jimmy G to go to New England. All the sense in the world for both sides.
Does it make the sense just because he has played there and like had some success when he filled in for Tom Brady for that 1 year, or does it make sense because he has the quote pocket quarterback stereotypical guy that Bill Belichick and what's his face like?
Yes.
Yes.
Simple
yes
answer.
to both.
Yes, both. And not only that, but he is a guy that Bill Belichick salivates over. He is a guy who knows this system, and they are a quarterback. They need a quarterback. They still need a quarterback. They've made some really good moves this offseason, but they still need a quarterback. And look, Jimmy G is not a top 10 quarterback in this league, but Jimmy G in New England is a top 10 quarterback in this league.
That's a bold statement there, Combs. Guys,
it's just
March
because
29th,
of the system,
Combs,
though, man.
Combs said Jimmy G's a top 10 quarterback. I'm going
In
to twist
New
those
England.
words.
In
Nope,
New England.
I'm going to twist those words. Jimmy G's a
my
top 10
God.
quarterback in the
In
league.
New England. I said in New England. Only in New England.
Are you serious?
Yes, because of that system and because of how smart Bill Belichick. You've seen what Bill Belichick did with Tom Brady. He'll do the same thing with Jimmy G. He'll do the same thing with Jimmy G. It's built. Look, I get that we've had this conversation before, and I hate this conversation. Was it Bill or was it Tom or was it this or was it? They both needed each other, and the same is true for Jimmy G and Bill Belichick. Jimmy G going to New England this offseason and being their starting quarterback at the start of next season is a match made in heaven, and it has Hoffy's pants about 4 inches shorter than what they were before the segment started.
And do you know why the Patriots go after Jimmy G as well? Because they're losing a bunch of defensive players to retirement too. So they're going to have to draft heavy on the defensive side. So why
They lost
not?
one guy to retirement. Stop it.
They
And
lost 2 or 3 now, guys, to retirement.
No. They lost one guy to retirement. They lost. I don't even think they lost anybody else. But and not only that, I'm not fully convinced this guy's retired. I'm just fully convinced they didn't want to pay him an extension, and he got mad and took his ball and went home. I think that he could absolutely still come back and play, but that defense is really, really good when it's at full capacity, and it's going to be at full capacity this year. Minus
No, it's not because they're missing 3
Patrick
guys.
Chung, but stop
It's 3 or
it.
4 guys. Come on now. All right, guys, so we're going to take our next break. On the other side of the break, we have the world infamous Way or No Way, brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Combs, you know what Thrive Fantasy is?
Oh, I know.
Oh, you know. So use promo code MANHOUR, guys, at thrivefantasy.com. It is where you can pick over and under bets. They do have Major League Baseball opening day bets happening right now. So let me pull it up here, and just some sample bets here, or some prop bets. Aaron Judge, over under 0.5 hits on opening day. So definitely go over with that, because Aaron
Over.
Judge is going to hit like 4 or 5 home runs 100% on that opening day.
Oh, stop.
So you
might
can
hit
just
2,
enter
though.
in. You can enter in $20 for a chance to win $10,000 there on thrivefantasy.com opening day. So head to thrivefantasy.com. You can now on iOS or Android versions as well. Use promo code MANHOUR, and they'll match up to $50 on your first deposit. Way or what? No way. Coming up right here, guys, on the Man Hour. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to the Man. Buck, you always get me on that. Welcome back to the Man Hour. We are here, Big X Radio Live. Let me bring Buck back on here. Buck, you always come back from break, and I'm still not paying attention. Still texting Hoffy in the private chat here on StreamYard, trying to figure out what was going on. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, hey, my face is on the screen all by myself.
It was a beautiful face, though. I mean, I give you that.
Yeah, hey, it doesn't look a day over 82. So we
Age
are
about a minute.
back on the Man Hour. It is time for everybody's favorite segment of the week. It is Way or No Way. Buck, you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right, Buck. So this first one here, we've been talking a lot about college basketball. We talk a lot about the Pac-12.
We did.
So I'm going to ask you this, and keep in mind, Oregon State's making a run right now. UCLA and Oregon State will run the table and give us an 11 versus a 12 in the finals.
Man, that is a no way, because there's a reason why they were 11 and 12 seed. Yes, we were talking about how they were misranked and like all this other stuff, yada, yada, yada. But let's be honest, Gonzaga is a undefeated basketball team. They play USC right now, which USC, I believe, was second or third in the Pac-12 to finish the regular season.
USC's gonna beat them.
And then UCLA plays a very good Michigan team. I said if they make it past the second round, they're going to the finals. So by that stretch of the imagination right there, Michigan is going to beat UCLA. Houston's probably going to beat Oregon State. So there's no way that is going to happen. I mean, one of them might slide in there. Oregon State might slide in and beat Houston, but Michigan is not going to lose to UCLA. No way, man.
Hoffy's got to put his hat on backstage. I'm getting a glare. I can barely see. But anyway, I think that this is an absolute possibility. I think, if Oregon State can pull it off versus Houston and UCLA, I think UCLA is definitely going to at least the Final Four. I could absolutely see in this being a final matchup. The way that this tournament has gone and the way that these guys have been playing basketball, I'm telling you, I don't count any of them out. The parity, we've talked about it time and time again, the parity in college basketball right now is so great. And I would love to see it. I'm rooting for it. I'll tell you that much. I'm definitely rooting for an 11 versus 12. I don't want to see any one seeds in the finals. Let's just have the most, even if it's USC, like let's have a 6 versus an 11 or a 6 versus 12. However it plays out, let's get it in there, and let's just have like two teams who nobody had in the championship game. All right, Buck. You know I'm giddy, baby. Like I am excited. It is opening day this week, baby.
It is.
Thursday, I've already told Michelle, look, on Thursday, I'm going to be in my underwear all day. Like, when you come home from work, you're going to have to bring me dinner up to the bedroom because I'm going to be sitting in my underwear, still watching baseball from 11 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning maybe, however late the final game plays. I'm going to be doing nothing but watching baseball all day on Thursday. So let me ask you this. Opening day should be a national holiday, sir.
I'm going to go with yes, Way, on this. Way on it, 100%.
Attaboy.
But before we get into this, Tori, you are 100% correct, or wrong on that, I should say. Combs is always about the underdogs. Me and Wyatt were wanting the Blue Bloods, just in there, just to classify 100%. That. But I think any sports opening day should be kind of like a national call and sick to work day. So NFL, Major League Hockey, even NBA, college basketball, college football. I mean, anytime a sports season is getting ready to start, you should have that day off to enjoy the moment with your family, go to the game, kick back some brews, have a great time, because this is, many of you guys, the only chance that you guys have at a winning record, i.e. Chicago Cubs and Chicago Bears. So opening day
we're having
should
popcorn for lunch. We're having, I'm making hot dogs for dinner that day. Like, we are having a ballpark themed food all day on Thursday. I'll be on the show. I'll be here in my underwear because I'm not wearing clothes on Thursday. I'll be eating hot dogs. There might be some relish or something dripping down my chest or something like that. So, you be ready for Thursday, sir. And it should absolutely be a national holiday. Every single year, my birthday is right around where opening day is. Every single year, I work on my birthday and I take opening day off. Like, that's how important it is to me, because I just want to watch baseball all day long. I finally get baseball back. The games finally count. I want to watch baseball all day long, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So it should absolutely be a national holiday.
I'll take that over Easter.
No way. Yes way.
Remind me to tell you my Easter joke when we get to the after show.
Gotcha.
It's for after show ears only.
If you guys are not a member, you should become a member. Head over to manhourradio.com, become a member. You get to hear the Easter joke.
Absolutely. All right. So with the next way or no way, another baseball one here. A team not named the Dodgers will win the World Series this year.
I'm going to go with yes way. The Dodgers are not going to win the World Series like I think. I'm going to go with my Royals. I think the Royals have a better shot at winning the World Series than like the Brewers. Let's just be flat out honest. Also, the Indians too. I mean, like the Indians have a couple pitchers like in there. I think they have a Cy Young winner as well. So I mean, this is kind of like when like people would like pick Tiger Woods or the field. You always take the field. You have a better shot at the field than particularly one team. And I want to give you three teams that have outside chances of making it to the World Series: the Brewers, Indians, and Royals.
What did you just say?
You heard me.
The Brewers, Indians, and Royals. Out of those three, only one of them has a chance to even compete for their division, and that's the Brewers.
It's not the Cubs, though, is it?
The Royals are not. Look, I got the Royals this year better than what a lot of people have them. I think they're at least a 500 ball club. I have them winning 81 games this year. I think that they are a very good team. I like the moves that they've made. I like their pitching rotation. I like everything about the Royals, but they're just not ready yet. And could they be one of those teams that's 2 or 3 years ahead of schedule? Sure, if all the stars align, great. But they're just not that team, man. I hate to burst your bubble. But yes, a team not named the Dodgers will win the World Series this year. And that team not named the Dodgers
Who is that
is
team?
going to be the New York Yankees.
What?
Sorry, Hoffy.
The New
Sorry,
York
Hoffy.
Yankees.
I'm just kidding. It's going to be the Padres, baby. The Padres are winning the World Series. The Padres are the best team in baseball. The Dodgers are coming off a World Series win. You never take a team who just won the World Series and have them repeat. The Padres are going to win the World Series. I think Drew just asked if he could come hang out in his underwear with me.
That's not weird at all. I mean, it's opening day.
Hey,
It is a national holiday.
It's true.
And I believe the rules state no pants before 4 p.m. So
Yeah. But you got to bring your own blanket and you got to sit on your side of the couch. That's my only rule. All right. So
I can see it now. You guys are on opposite couches, but you're leaning in, and you have like the cheese dip in the middle, and your head's clunky. You just start drooling, you like fall asleep.
Absolutely. All right. So we've got the last way or no way here. A complete game is more impressive than 3 home runs on opening day.
Ooh,
On opening day, a complete game is more impressive than 3 home runs.
Complete game or 3 home runs. Man. First of all, hitting both of those feats in any game is very like, what is the percentage? Like I'm sure is less than like 5%.
3 home runs happens a lot more than you would think. A complete game is a rarity nowadays because, I mean, look, pitchers just don't go that deep in mid-July, let alone on opening day.
Well, but on the bright side, on opening day, you should, quote, be your freshest. You should, because you know it is their best versus the best. So I'm going to go with a complete game simply because it is the first game for the season for everybody. Everybody is in their healthiest that they're going to probably be all season. Most people, unless they're coming off injuries or surgeries or whatnot, and it is the best versus the best. It is not like you're calling a guy up from like the minor leagues in July versus the number one pitcher. So a complete game on opening day, give me that, because has it ever happened? I think it's happened one time, hasn't it? Maybe 2.
Yeah.
So very, very rare.
It doesn't happen often. It used to happen more often back in the day. It doesn't happen as often now. In a complete game now, so I agree with you. It's definitely a complete game on opening day, just because of how a complete game any time of the year nowadays is impressive because of how fast the pitchers get pulled. So yeah, I'm with you there.
Thing, right?
And just to get back to it, Hoffy did remind me that I did pick the Angels to win the World Series and not the Padres. But I just hedged my bet there, so it's either going to be the Angels or the Padres. Angels and the Padres in the World Series. Spoiler alert.
So who actually wins?
The Angels.
Are you going to renege on that in a few weeks?
Maybe.
Okay. I just want to be perfectly honest, so make sure we're talking about the same thing here.
No way. Yes way.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for Way or No Way. We're going to take our next break. On the other side of the break, we have my second favorite segment here on the Man Hour called Would You Rather? And since Wyatt is not here, we're going to bring on the baseball lackey himself, Hoffy, onto the show to join us on Would You Rather. Then we got some baseball talk with Hoffy on the last part of the show. So let's go ahead and welcome Hoffy onto the show before we take our last little break. Hoffy, are you ready for Would You Rather?
Absolutely.
We don't care what you think, Hoffy, because we're going to mute you right off the bat.
Hey,
and guys, we're going
to mute you.
We're going to take a quick little break, guys. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
Should have seen it coming.
Yep. Rookie. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse along with Brandon Combs and Hoffy joined us for the last hour of the show, our baseball lackey himself. So let's go ahead and welcome the boys back onto the show. And as Tori Anderson comes with the question with you baseball experts here, name the 4 players that have homered 3 times on opening day.
I know 3 of the 4. I can't think of the 4th guy's name, but I know who he played for. Tuffy Rhodes did it for the Cubs. Matt Davidson did it most recently for the White Sox. George Bell did it I believe in the 80s for the Blue Jays. The other guy played for the Tigers, but I can't remember his name.
Was it Mike Cameron?
Dimitri Young.
It was Young something.
That one.
Yeah.
It was Dimitri Young. Yep.
Dimitri Young. There you go.
Yep. That's because it was against the Kansas City Royals, and I remember it pretty vividly because that was the year I graduated high school too. So.
Yeah. So I knew 3 out of the 4 names. I couldn't think of the 4th name. I knew who he played for though.
Yeah, so how many opening day complete games have there been since Tori is the baseball trivia guy there.
I'm
Like,
sure
I'm
there's
like, I
been a
wonder-
lot more opening day because back in the day, man.
Right.
I mean, complete game. Like, look, Cy Young probably threw 300 of them.
So do we need to renege on would you rather have a complete game or a 3-game home run or a three-run home gun game?
If it's just on opening day, I mean, I'd still rather see the complete game on opening. I think it's more impressive for a pitcher to throw a complete game on opening day than a hitter to hit 3 home runs. Just because 3 home run games on opening day might be rare, but 3 home run games in baseball are not exactly rare. The 4 home run game is
Right.
definitely rare, but the 3 home run game, not so much. On opening day, it certainly is because only 4 have ever done it, but a complete
right.
game to me, just especially in today's game.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into Would You Rather. So, Combs, go ahead and explain to people what Would You Rather is all about. And then, Hoffy, you get the first Would You Rather every time from here on out, okay?
All right.
All
sounds
right.
Good.
So, Would You Rather is just basically the game that you used to play when you were a kid. Only, I mean, you played it a little differently, I'm sure, when you were a kid. I know I did. But basically, I just give these guys a couple of things to choose from and say, hey, would you rather do this or would you rather do that? So, with the first one, Hoffy, you ready?
Let's do it.
Would you rather win an NCAA title as leader of an undefeated team in any sport or be an MVP in a major sport but never win a title?
I'll take the MVP. That's some big money right there.
So all about money for you. Like you don't care
absolutely.
about winning the title and what it means to be a champion. You just let me be an MVP and never win a title, but
I'll do that in the beer leagues after I collect my paychecks.
Okay. So
All right, Manny Ramirez.
obviously Hoffy hasn't won very many championships because at the college level, when you do well, you get free tattoos, you get free meals, you get free this. Ask Ohio State. That mean they got a bunch of free tattoos for winning their national championship, right? But going undefeated and winning a national championship, that is something that very, very few people can really ever dream of doing. And usually when you go undefeated or go, win a national title, 9 times out of 10, if you are a top player on that team, you are going to go on to the next level and get lots of dollar bills, y'all. But it is something about flashing a championship ring when you're doing broadcasting or, going to just interviews. I mean, like MVP, yeah, cool. Like awesome. Like I was the best overrated player on my team, like in the league. But give me a national title chip undefeated, man. I want some free tattoos.
Yeah, look, I'm with you, Buck. I want to win an NCAA title as the leader of an undefeated team because I want to win a championship. Like I want to have that feeling of what it's like to reach the ultimate goal, no matter what level it's at, whether it's college or in the pros. I think that would be an awesome thing, and then to do it as an undefeated team in any sport. I mean, you can say, "Look, nobody could beat us. We were down. We were so good that nobody could beat us that year," and that is just that's the thing. That's what I want. So that's where I'm leaning with that. Hoffy's just like, look, pay me, just pay
popularity and money.
Hoffy, you're doing this show for free, right?
Yeah.
For now.
Okay, just
I'll bill you later. Don't worry.
All right.
We will take your 2 cents and we'll put it on the shelf there for you.
That Chicago helmet in the background looks nice. I'll take that one to start.
The little mini one. All right, I got you.
All right. Perfect.
So-
Good way to start.
All right. So the next one here, we have: would you rather be a pro golfer or a pro face slapping champion?
Oof. I mean, some of those slaps that those guys take. No thanks. I'm golfing all day. I'll take the beautiful scenery.
But you're the champion, so you stood through it all, and nobody can knock you down. Like you're a certified badass.
I get that, but man, I don't think I got the chin for that. No thanks.
Yeah. Wow. If I could find my mouse, that would be fantastic. So I can switch the screen. There we go. There's my mouse. So, Hoffy, do you know how much a professional golfer wins if they win just a PGA Tour event? the average is like $10 million is like what they win. Do you know what the slap boxer made? The world champion slap boxer made?
15K.
Yeah, 10 or 15K. Give me golf all day. Combs, this is the most easiest question you have ever had. Cool, you can take a slap in the face. Your wife is going to love you because she can beat you. Like, no. Give me golf and give me the ladies. Give me the Tiger Woods lifestyle pre-getting caught. I mean, golf all day.
All right. So I get the money aspect. I get the golf. And look, I love golf. I love watching golf. I love playing golf, even though I'm horrible at it. I love golf. But look, man, if I'm the pro face slapping champion, like, I mean, I'm a badass. And I'm something I never thought I was. Like, I am the pro face slapping champion. Like, what do you mean? How? Go ahead, call me an idiot. I will slap the shit out of you.
I would be nice because it's your birthday, but God, you are stupid.
1 minute, 10 seconds, and 40, or 1 minute, 10, 40 is what you need to go ahead and edit out there. 1 hour, 10:40, I should say. I went a little nuts there, but yes, I want to be a pro face slapping champion. Absolutely, 110%. You guys are out of your minds.
Seriously. So, first of all, you were complaining to Javi that like money isn't everything. It is right. All about glory, and like you were kind of like on.
So this is about the glory,
just like on that train, right? But let's be honest, you can't even pay your house payment just because you're a face slapper king or
right.
Whatever.
And when they come to go ahead and collect and try to repo my house, I will slap them silly.
No, you won't, because. All right, next one.
Yeah, seriously.
Sheesh. Wow.
All right, moving on.
Happy birthday, Combs. I'm just going to back off just because you're.
I got a baseball game to get to. Is this all we got?
We're going on with the last one here. Would you rather be stranded on an island with the tools to build your own house and resources for food, or would you rather be stranded on an island with Carissa Thompson and Rachel Nichols?
Oof, I'll take the house because I want to keep the house that I live in right now. So yeah, I'll plead the fifth, and I'll take the tools to build a house. I'll call Bob the builder, ask if she can float on over and help me out.
I did not know we had Wyatt Williams on the show tonight as Coffee takes a line right down the middle. Right? Sheesh. First of all, which Rachel Nichols are we talking about? Like, are we talking about the pre-pack of cigarettes a day Rachel Nichols, or or the posts? Like, have you seen her like on the jump? She has those smoker lips now.
Yeah.
She has gone
She's still
downhill. No, she's not. Give me a house, because if I build a house, they're going to come over, right? All the milkshake brings the ladies to the yard. All the house brings the ladies inside. So give me the house.
There are no ladies. You're stranded on an island.
There will be. Have you ever seen Manifest? I mean, people pop up all the time.
You guys are wusses, man. Look, Michelle watches this show all the time. Michelle is watching this show right now. And that's Michelle is going to make me sleep on the couch for this next statement. But give me Carissa Thompson and Rachel Nichols any day of the week on a stranded island. Come on. It's Rachel Nichols. I'm the only, you know how you ask a girl in grade school if I was the last guy in the world? I'm the last guy in the world. What do you mean? Yes,
hey,
absolutely.
Let's go around the horn real quick here. Hoffy, how many times have you been married?
Never.
Oh, so you've never been married, but
I'm engaged. No,
you're engaged.
I've been married once. The Buck, right? The Buck train, not the Combs train.
Yeah, so I've been married once, and I'm only going to get married once. Combs, how many times have you been married?
Twice.
So, guys, see which route do you want to go? Do you want to build a house, or do you want to fantasize about Rachel Nichols? Come on, man.
Rachel Nichols all day long. You guys are just wusses.
No, we're realists, and
Tori Anderson says maybe if it was Susie Colbert.
Wow, this is going down here really quick, guys. Really quick. No, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and take our second to last break.
If we ever make it to ESPN, this segment is going to get out, and Rachel Nichols and Carissa Thompson are going to be sitting at our desk, and they are going to have HR with them, and we are going to have a whole mess on our hands.
Not us. Me and Buck played it safe.
Well, I mean, I kind of did call her that she had smoker lips, but I mean, facts are facts, right?
That's true. That's true.
I mean, if you call the kettle black, I mean, it's
I think she's really nice.
She's a really nice person.
Yeah,
Just gone.
That's not what
butt
Hoffy
ugly.
said off air. I'm just going to throw that out there, Rachel.
We're kidding. But we're going to take a quick little break, guys, to
Leave it to
gather our
break, and then
thoughts.
I'll
We are
express it.
going to talk some Major League Baseball as the opening day is just a day away now. Two days away, I should say. Hoffy is going to give us his tier rankings, tiers 1 through 7. 7 being the worst, 1 being the best. Where does your team land? Find out here on the Man Hour coming up, guys. We'll be right back after this little musical intro. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buccato with Brandon Combs here. If you guys have missed any part of the show whatsoever, head over to manhourradio.com. You can check out the podcast form by simply clicking on the podcast and clicking the latest episode up there. Or you can download us on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you'd be most inclined right now, head over to youtube.com/Man Hour Radio. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well, as the chat line is always going off, and we appreciate you guys each and every comment that you make. We're not going to address some of those comments on air because it went sideways quick over there. So if you are curious of what it said, head over to youtube.com/Man Hour. So Hoffy, you are our baseball. You are our baseball connoisseur, our lackey, as Combs likes to call you, but you are the guy that we're going to have on each and every week to talk power rankings, to talk baseball, and that kind of thing. So first things first is I like tell the people like what your knowledge of baseball is.
I mean, baseball is my favorite sport. Unlike you guys, I think you got. Well, I mean, I know Combs is big into baseball, but wow. I mean that's my first love. So I mean that's the game that I follow the most. I mean, I'm a huge into sports, but baseball has always been my calling.
Right.
I'm the same way. Hoffy, how excited are you to get back in the stadium, man?
Oh God!
Dude, I just got tickets to go to Wrigley.
No, bro. California's a liberal state. We're shut down still.
Oh no! Next Wednesday I'll be at Wrigley, man.
See, fun fact: here in Indiana, we no longer have to wear a mask. So
I wanted to be. My birthday's April 6th. I wanted to be at the Dodgers versus the Athletics.
Oh, and, hang on, pause. Combs' birthday is March 29th. Yours is April 6th. Mine is April 11th. We are all three gingers. We're all three Aries. How are we all on the same show right now? because the zoology or the whatever it's called, it says that Aries are supposed to bunch heads and gingers hate each other. I mean, how does this work out, guys? I'm really confused.
Because I don't have brown eyes.
It's true.
I don't get the brown eye thing.
Watch South Park. The gingers have brown eyes.
Yeah.
No souls. It's brown eyes. So if you don't have brown eyes, you have a soul.
I got blue eyes.
See,
Yeah,
me too.
I've got hazel eyes, so
We're all good.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get into some baseball talk here. So, Hafi, you have broken down all teams into each tier. We are going to start off with tier 7. Your tier 7, the little quotation you put on there is the future is hazy. Check again next year, aka if you are watching. If you're playing PlayStation, hit that reset button and hopefully come back with another team. So the first team that you have in your tier 7 here is the Colorado Rockies. Last year they did start 11-3, but the wheels quickly fell off. They finished the season 26-34. The big bat struggled, and the bullpen couldn't hold a lead to save their life. Is that going to be much of the same for the Rockies going into 2021 season?
Yeah, that's basically what I got here. Is they're going to need a lot of offensive help. Some bullpen, and they're a small market team, so they're definitely going to need some prospects. Now, I believe Trevor Story, it's his last year. So you got Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon. I believe those are going to be your trade pieces, and I think that, that's only going to hurt their record, but that's what they're going to have to do to be competitive, moving forward in the future. They only have one player in the top 100, and he's not due to, hit their team until probably 2024. So they're going to be hurting.
So basically what you're saying is they are in complete rebuild, build our minors league system up, yada, yada, yada. Combs, do you see any possibility the Rockies even win 40 games this year?
Oh, 40 games, yeah. I believe I had them somewhere in the realm of 70, 79, something like that is where I had them. Actually, you know what? No, I think it was 73 is where I had them. I have them a little bit better. I think there's going to be worse teams out there. I also think that, they're going to benefit from playing the Giants also 19 times. I think that that season series can go either way. I think that they'll be a little bit better than people think that they are, because they do play in Colorado, and that's the wild card there, is that Colorado, could just turn into, a 32-31 game any night of the week. And I think Colorado's a little bit better than people can, but I agree with Huffy 100%. I agree that they're in full rebuild mode. They are not going to be very fun to watch over the next 2 to 3 years. And so, if they don't win, more than 60 games, that wouldn't surprise me either.
So, Huffy, do you possibly see them not finishing last place in their division with the Giants and Diamondbacks also kind of being down as well?
San Francisco's got a pretty solid starter in Gosman. Yastrzemski, they got some good prospects. So I actually think San Francisco, they're gonna struggle because they're with LA Dodgers, San Diego. But I do have Colorado only winning 59 games and being at the bottom of that division.
That is,
yeah. See, I think that's the D-backs.
Tough.
I think the D-backs are going to be the bottom of that division. I think the D-backs are going to have a really bad year. I know that they've got Bumgarner over there now, and I know that all that, but Bumgarner is not Bumgarner anymore.
No,
and
but
the Diamondbacks are going to be a really bad team. But again, it would not surprise me if them and Colorado are fighting at the basement at 60 to 62 wins.
I think they have them by 8 games or something like that.
All right, so moving on to the next team that you have in your tier 7 here is the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers, let's just be honest, guys, they are in flat out tank mode. They're trading everybody away. They traded Lance Lynn to the Chicago Cubs in the offseason here. They did finish 22-38 last season, but they also did finish in dead last in runs scored last season as well. Hoffy, any chance they basically make any games competitive?
No, they need a lot of offensive power, and they need to help out their rotation. They had 30 home games last season. They hit 27 home runs. The Dodgers and the Braves hit 25 in their 7-game NLCS. They got some prospects, but they're not going to be on the team this year. But yeah, they're definitely in full rebuild mode, and they're going to be struggling for a year or two.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have the Rangers only at 66-96 this year. They're going to be so bad. They're not going to be, as bad as the Pittsburgh Pirates, but they're going to be really bad this year. And so I agree with everything Hoffy just said about the Rangers. They're abysmal. And they got that brand new ballpark, which makes it even worse. But they're going to be tough to watch for a couple of years.
Is there anything that the Rangers can do to possibly become a 500 team this year?
I mean, they signed a Japanese Kohei Arihara, a pitcher. So I mean, he's going to be their ace. If he, puts up solid numbers in his first year, I mean, they can be around 500. But that's the best I see them even coming.
Combs, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't even see that. Like, I don't think anything can help the Rangers. Like, they've got to have so much more than what they have, and even with
they could lose 100
Japanese
games
player,
sure.
Yeah, they absolutely could challenge. And between Pittsburgh and Detroit, I think are going to be the two worst teams in the league. But the Rangers are going to be right behind them.
Speaking of the Pittsburgh Pirates, this is the next team that Hoffy has in his tier 7. Basically, better luck next year. The Pirates finished 19-41 in the 2020 campaign. They have a brand new general manager. They have a brand new front office. First-year manager Derek Shelton does have some young talent on the team. Hoffy, give me some previews about the Pirates here.
Yeah, their new GM, Ben Sherrington, he's got his work cut out for him. But like you said, they do got some prospects in Hayes. I think he's number 9 on the top 100, third baseman. They got a second baseman who's number 43. Priester is a pitcher that they have in the top 50, and they got a pretty decent shortstop as well. But they definitely need some more prospects, being that they're a small market team. Outfield and some dependable relievers would help that team for sure.
Yeah, and again, like I have the Pirates losing 102 games. I there is nothing about the Pirates that excites me. There is nothing. I know you say he's got some good young talent. I don't know where that good young talent's at. Maybe
they're still in the farm system,
double A ball.
That's why they're still check back next year.
Right. So I don't know, man. The Pirates are going to have a really tough year. In a really beautiful ball. I do love Pittsburgh, man. Pittsburgh's got a great ballpark, but that team is not going to be fun to watch at all.
So the final team that you have in your tier 7 is the Baltimore Orioles. They finished 25-34 last season. They were in the wild card hunt for most of the season. They've shown a lot of progress over the 2020 season, but they are still building their farm season. And they also signed Felix Hernandez to a minor league contract just the other day as well. Orioles, with them being 25-35 last season in the wild card hunt, why do you have them at the tier 7 right now?
I mean, I believe their outfield and their rotation, outperformed last year, and I think they're going to take a step back. I do believe that Ryan Mountcastle could be a dark horse for Rookie of the Year behind our guy in Tampa Bay, Rosarina. But I think in that division with the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Rays, and I think even the Red Sox are going to beat up on them. So I don't think they're going to do well this year.
Yeah, I have the Orioles at 101 losses. I'm at 61-101. I don't have them as the worst team in there. My worst team in baseball, you don't even have in your tier 7, which is funny to me because I have the Tigers losing 110 games this year. I'm not high on the Tigers at all, but the Orioles, again, they're in that division, man. The Yankees are going to be good. The Blue Jays are going to be really good. I think that the Blue Jays, so I have the Yankees winning this division by 2 games over the Blue Jays, but I really think that the Blue Jays could absolutely come out and take this division. I don't think that the Yankees are so much better than the Blue Jays that they can't win the division. So
they're one injury away.
Yeah, this division is going to be tough with the Yankees, Blue Jays, and Rays. And like you said, I think the Red Sox will beat up on Baltimore a little bit as well. So, yeah, I had them at 61-101.
So, Hoffy, let me ask you this question. If the Baltimore Orioles were in any other division in baseball, would they still be in tier 7 status here?
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time they were relevant outside of last year? And last year was a short season, so I really don't count that for much. We saw the Miami Marlins, make the playoffs, and I think they finished 7-25 in their last, to finish off their season or something like that. So yeah, no, I don't believe that they would be much I don't think they'd be anything better than tier 7.
All right, so moving on to tier 6. This is a tier that you stated that the teams are just 1 year away. So next year, the 2022 campaign, these will be teams to watch out for. The first team that you listed down here was the Seattle Mariners. They finished 27-33 last season. They finished third in their division, but behind the Astros and A's. They have added some solid young players such as Kyle Lewis, the rookie of the year from last season, and they also added a veteran closer, Ken Giles. However, he is out till the 2022 season because he just had Tommy John surgery. Give me a breakdown of the Seattle Mariners.
I mean, me and Combs have talked about this before, and that's why I also, I'm surprised he doesn't have Detroit in the same tier. But they got 6 players in the top 100, and they got 3 solid righties in Emerson Hancock, Logan Gilbert, and George Kirby. So I think that, it would be best to leave those guys in the farm system one more year, let them get some experience, maybe bring them up towards the end in September when you get the expanded rosters, let them get some MLB experience. And I do believe Seattle is going to be a team to watch out for next year.
Yeah, I like Seattle. I think the West is going to be another tough division in the American League. Like I said, I'm high on the Halos. I love the Angels. I do have them winning the World Series this year. And I have the A's. I think they're just that team until they give me a reason to not pick them to win 80 to 90 games because they seem to do it every single year, regardless of what they look like on paper. And then the Astros as well. I got them as a 500 team, but the Mariners are up and coming. I could see the Mariners being a dark horse and making early season pushes to being that team where we're like, wow, where did they come from? And I think that, they'll fall back come, July, that around that time and really come back down to earth. So I had them finishing 76 and 86 this year. But yeah, I agree with you. In 2 years or so, 2-3 years time, the Seattle Mariners team is going to be a team, of the future in this division. They're going to be a la the San Diego Padres in this division.
So, Hoffy, let me ask you this question. Combs said that they are going to basically start out hot, like early. Do you think that there is any way that they start out so hot so early that they make some mid-season transactions and they gain a little bit of traction and make a playoff push?
No, I don't think Seattle is going to be even in the wild card. I mean, they might sneak up into the next tier, which is what stuck in the middle. But
yeah.
No, I think they're just going to be a team that's going to get some experience this year, and they're going to lose some games where they were ahead and they make some bonehead plays. And I think this is going to really be a learning experience here for this team.
Combs, you concur?
Yeah, I do. I think that the Mariners, and the reason why they don't make any moves is because they know they're a couple years away, and even they're going to write it out with what they got. And if their guys get them, they're great. And if they don't, like Hoffy said, it's a learning experience. And they're not trading away any of those pieces to try to make a 1-year run. They are in this for the long haul. They've been rebuilding for a few years now. Right. And the Seattle Mariners are again just a very short time away from being legit contenders in this division.
So before we continue into tier 6, Hoffy, you are a baseball player. You've played at a very, very high level. What do you think a player's mindset is going into a season like this, knowing that your team is a couple years away from being a competitive team? Like, do you still play hard, or do you kind of like take it back like a tad bit?
Yeah, I think just like any athlete, I don't think it's in you to. We saw the Miami Dolphins last year. We thought they were tanking, and look what happened. So I don't think it's really in any athlete that plays the game to not give it their all. Regardless, I mean, I've been on teams where I know we're going to get spanked, but I still have to show up and still want to play, because if I don't play, then that's a loss on me. And I'm okay with losing as a team, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to lose because of my effort.
So do you think their manager will put them in bad positions to, quote, tank the season?
No, I just think we're talking games where it's going to be, they're up 3-2. There's going to be, a double, and then there's going to be a silly little error, or, a ground ball that he should have just taken the out and, let the runner go from second to third. Instead, they get into a pickle. The guy gets to third. Now the guy's on first. And that guy comes up, hits a double, and it costs them. So I think they're just going to, Yeah, exactly. I think you're just going to find mental errors that they're going to have to learn from.
And Combs knows all about that snowball effect happening at the age of 40 there. So moving on to Tier 6 here, the next team that you have listed is the Kansas City Royals. My Kansas City Royals here. They went 26-34 last season. However, they did lose a majority of the team from last year's roster. That Alex Gordon retired, Ian Kennedy is gone, and Matt Montgomery is gone, just to name a few. But they did add some players from your Boston Sox there, and of course they signed Seth Salvi to a pretty lengthy contract as well. People do forget that the Royals are just 6 years removed from a World Series. Hoffy, any way that the Royals make a playoff push?
I mean, I think it's going to depend on that White Sox team. If they fall apart with Tony La Russa, I could see that, potentially being a wild card position for them to compete in. You got Hunter Dozier, Jorge Soler, Carlos Santana, and like you said, my guy Benintendi. All four experienced some COVID symptoms last year, had some rough seasons. I expect them to bounce back. And you got, Bobby Witt. He could be a potential rookie of the year at shortstop. And then you got, two solids as well in Daniel Lynch and Asa Lacy, who I don't think is probably going to be on the team till probably next year. But I think the future is really bright for this Kansas City team. If not, this year, definitely next year.
Witt Jr., right?
Yeah.
Kick it to you, Combs.
Oh, sorry. I was going through the comments here. So, yeah, look, the Kansas City Royals, I really like them to be better than where you have them here. I kind of like them in the stuck in the middle, the next tier up. I really like what they're doing. I like Brad Keller. I like Danny Duffy. That Mike Minor signing was a quiet, really good signing for them. And, when you look at Salvador Perez, I think is the most underrated catcher in baseball. Definitely the most underappreciated catcher in baseball. But then they've got Hunter Dozier, they've got Whit Merrifield, they've got Alberto Mondesi. They just picked up Andrew Benintendi from the Red Sox. And then, they've got another kid who I watched play in collegiate ball over there in New Hampshire because he played for the Muskrats in Laconia. Is Ryan McBroom. This kid is out of the University of West Virginia. He was so we called him McBoom because this kid crushes baseballs. That's all that he does. And this Royals team is really a lot better than a lot of people give him credit for.
I think
so I like them
slide into the 3 spot by the end of this year.
Yeah, oh absolutely. Absolutely 100%.
Into tier 3?
Interesting teams, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I think next year it could be a 3-team race in the Central Division because right now it's the White Sox and Twins, and I very easily the Royals could even sneak in there this year, to be honest with you, and make it interesting with the injury to Eloy Jimenez and the Twins always trying to find a way to blow the division. The Royals could absolutely sneak in here and find a way to make things interesting this year.
Yeah, and speaking of the AL Central there, the Detroit Tigers is a team that you also had in the Tier 6. They finished 23-35 last season. It seems like they have been rebuilding forever, guys. Like ever since 2017, they traded off Verlander from a very, very good team to, quote, rebuild and retool for the upcoming seasons. Flash forward 5 years, they are still rebuilding. They do have a new manager this year in AJ Hinch. So Hoffy, give me a little bit of preview of the Tigers here.
So the Tigers are, they're going to need some impact hitters and a catcher as well. They do have 5 prospects in the top 25. Spencer Torkelson for third base, Casey Mize, who another potential rookie of the year. You got Riley Green, he's an outfielder, and then they got a couple other pitchers in Skubal and Manning. So I think that much like the Mariners, they're going to be a fun team to watch this year. But again, some of those mental errors, and this is going to be a year of learning for them. And I think next year they're going to be a real solid team.
Combs, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said you had them getting like 110 losses this year for the Detroit Tigers?
Yeah, I've got them competing for the worst team in baseball, maybe even competing for the worst record in the history of the game. I don't like this team. I don't like what they've put together. I mean, you talk about Casey Mize being, a rookie of the year candidate, and I do like Jose Urena. I think Jose Urena is the best pitcher on the staff. I just, from there, I just don't get it. I mean, Wilson Ramos, doesn't get you excited behind the plate. Candelario and Jonathan Scoop and all those guys, these are guys that just never materialized into what they could have been. And they're going to continue that here. I do like Jacoby Jones. Obviously, you have Miguel Cabrera, who, I think
he'll be trade bait.
I think he turned 98 this year. So, he's probably towards the end of his career. I don't know, man. I don't like any part of this team. I don't like the pitching staff behind Arena, and their bullpen is trash. I mean, just complete garbage. And so I think a lot of Arena's good outings are going to get spoiled by that. So I just, I don't know, man. I just don't see good things for the Tigers this year. I think they're going to be a horrendous team, and I think they're going to be a horrendous team for quite a few years. They've made some questionable moves as of late, and they don't have a ton in the minor leagues. I mean, they've got a little bit, but they don't got enough to make themselves real contenders within the next 3 or 4 years unless they make some serious acquisitions.
So, Hoffy, you and Combs are basically on complete opposite spectrums of this Detroit Tigers team. What player excites you to put them up in this tier 6 category here?
I still have them losing, close to 100 games. I think I have them at 60 and 102. I just think that their prospects, the Royals have some solid MLB players now that help their prospects. The Tigers don't have that, which is why, some of their other prospects in the farm need to develop. But I think that they have a solid team as far as AAA, AA, to where they can be competitive next year with those prospects coming up into the MLB system.
So you're saying they are going to turn around a 100-loss team in 1 year to become a playoff-bound team next year?
I could see them being 80-80 next year.
Okay. So moving on to the tier 5 here, this tier you have basically put the hashtag on it, stuck in the middle, whether they don't know if they're coming or going, more or less. So the first team that you have wrote down here is the Philadelphia Phillies. They finished 28-32 last season. They did re-sign JT Realmuto to their staff. I think highly overpaid, but it is what it is. So tell me about the Phillies. Why are they stuck in the middle?
They also re-signed Didi Gregorius, which was a huge signing for them. They added some upgrades to the bullpen. They're going to score, but the pitching is going to be an issue. Bryce Harper is I think, their X factor. I believe that this team's going to play well into July, and I expect them to kind of fall off from there. And that's only because they're in the the NL East. They're going to be with the Mets, the Braves, and the Nationals, and those three teams are going to be pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Colm, what about you?
And so the NL East is going to be, I think, the best division in baseball. And I had the Philadelphia Phillies being one of those teams that sneaks up on everybody else. I think that the Philadelphia Phillies make a push this year, although they fall a little bit short. I have them winning 87 games this year. I have the Nationals winning 86, and they're in 4th place, and they're winning 86 games. So if that tells you anything about how high I am on the NL East, it's them. But the Phillies, I really like what they've got. I love Aaron Nola. Zach Wheeler's a really solid pitcher. Eflin's a solid pitcher. Matt Moore they picked up, and that was a great pickup for them. Archie Bradley in the bullpen, if Jojo Romero comes back, healthy and can do what he can do. And then you've got, obviously, they re-signed JT Realmuto, Rhys Hoskins over at first base, Gene Segura. The list goes on. Didi Gregorius, Andrew McCutchen, and Bryce Harper, obviously, he needs to have a MVP-type Bryce Harper season in order for them to make a push. But the Phillies are a little bit of what what they need to be, and I think ultimately the Mets and the Braves are much better than the Phillies and the Nationals, but I think the Phillies can make some noise for sure.
So, Hoffy, your staple for this tier 5 teams here, like you have 4 of them here, stuck in the middle. How can the Phillies get stuck out of the middle? How can they jump up or jump down?
The trade deadline, but I really don't see them moving down. I don't see them, doing any sort of rebuild, and I don't see them being able to jump those the three teams I have ahead of them. Now, between second and fourth place, I only have a 4-game difference. So, I think 86, 84, and 82 wins for those three teams. So they're going to be close. I think the Nationals, as well as the Braves and the Mets, are going to be just a couple games ahead of them.
So, Combs, you mentioned trade deadline here. What do you think their biggest need is going to be going into that trade deadline?
It really just depends on how their season plays out. Right now, they don't really have much of a need anywhere. Maybe you could talk about middle relief as being a weakness for them. They've got a really good team. They're just going to play in a really tough division. I think that this division is going to be very solid. We talked about parity in college basketball earlier. There's a lot of parity in this NL East. And I think that these teams are going to split a lot of series. I think that the Mets and the Braves are the cream of the crop, but I really feel like the Phillies and the Nationals can both send both of those teams packing and knock them both out, even, stop them from getting into the playoffs if they wanted to. This is going to be a really tight division, and I won't be surprised with any one of these teams making a push.
Is this a must-see division every time that they're on?
Yeah. Even the Marlins. Look, the Marlins are one of those teams that is down and out right now. But I feel like the Marlins are that team that we don't see coming, just like they were last year. I know it was a short season. I know they kind of sort of fell off at the end, but they also played something like it was like 37 games in 33 days. Like they were playing a lot of baseball towards the end of the season because of COVID. And I feel like they could be better than what we have them. I have them down at 79 wins. I don't even have them at 500. But I feel like, any one of these teams in this division could really make a push and be better than what we expect them to be because they are all very talented.
So speaking of very good teams and possibly overrated teams, Hoffy, I see you got that B hat on there. The Boston Red Sox did finish the season 24-36 last season. They were 2018 World Series champions, but 2020 season the COVID bug seemed to bite them a lot. They lost a lot of their pitching staff, and they also traded away Mookie Betts as well. Obviously, at the beginning of the season. So Hoffy, you had them stuck in the middle. Why?
Much like the Phillies, they're going to be in the AL East, and they're going to be with the Toronto Blue Jays, the Yankees, and the Rays. Alex Vertigo, I think he's on his way to being a star. Alexander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, Eduardo Rodriguez, I think he's going to be a star for the Red Sox. He struggled again last year with having COVID, much like some of the Royals players. I think he's going to be their ace. And Chris Sale's due to come back maybe halfway through the season. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Duran being our leadoff hitter by the middle of June. I mean, the kid's much like Mookie Betts. He's got speed, power, and I believe Kike Hernandez is going to be solid at that second base position. But they have holes in the corner positions in the outfield as well as first base. So I think that's where they're going to struggle in the AL East.
So I noticed that you said like my team, our team. I thought you were going for the Padres all like all year. Are you already jumping ship?
He needs to.
No, I'm forever Boston, but my team this year is going to be the Padres. That's who I got winning it all. So I'm gonna ride it out.
All right, just making sure there. Go ahead.
I think that your fandom kept the Red Sox out of Tier 7 because I don't see anything with this team. If Chris Sale can come back healthy, then sure, maybe they could win 80 games. But I've got them
to win the AL East in 2018. I guarantee
2018 was the Red Sox, and they won the World Series that year.
They weren't supposed to win squat that year.
I just posted on my Facebook, actually, there was a memory that came out from the 2018 season, preseason. I posted my predictions, and I had the Red Sox winning the World Series, and somebody came to me and said, "You have the Red Sox over the Yankees? That's crazy." And I actually picked the Red Sox preseason to win the World Series that year. I had them beating the Cubs, which did not happen, but I had the Red Sox winning the World Series in 2018 preseason. Check my Facebook, sir.
Those guys perform differently for Alex Cora, and I think that's what happened.
But I just don't think that this. this team, I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez, Eovaldi, Garrett Richards, Martin Perez, Nick Pivetta, like these names just, I mean.
Rodriguez is going to be a stud. You'll see. We'll talk at the end of the year.
I don't know, man. And then
Vasquez,
Vasquez, is Vasquez going to be healthy after getting hit in the eye the other day? Like, I don't know. How's he doing?
He's fully healthy. He's ready to go.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean that's good for them because he got hit in the eye. Like
yeah.
that was a scary moment for them. But like I don't know, man. I don't see it. I don't like Kike Hernandez is probably other than Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts, Kike Hernandez is your next best player. And
Vertigo.
That's scary. That's scary for Red Sox fans.
Just for that, I'm moving your Cubs down to tier 7.
So
I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest.
Bucks Royals just went to tier 1, top dogs.
That's right. So Combs, let me ask you this question. You are kind of dogging the Sox here, like a tad bit. Should they be in complete rebuild mode then? If you think they're highly overrated for Coffee Sears? Yeah,
they need to start. I don't know about rebuild, but reset. Because you can build around what you have with Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers. You can build around Eduardo Rodriguez in your pitching rotation. You can build around stuff. So kind of reset. They need to bring up some of their young talent out of the minors. Let them get some major league experience. They need to make some moves in the off season and at the trade deadlines. But yeah, I mean they're just. They're in a place right now where they need to spend money in order to get better, and I'm just not sure what route they're willing to go because they haven't shown signs of any of it.
So, Hoffy, you clearly are a Red Sox fan. Is your fandom coming into this tier?
No.
Yes.
No.
Oh,
to be honest, I honestly thought I would have the Red Sox in the tier 7, but just reading up on them, seeing how they performed in spring training and such is why I think they're going to perform for Alex Cora much like they did in 2018. Obviously, I don't see them in the playoffs or anything like that, but that's why I got them. Stuck
how many
in
wins
the
you have them at?
110.
Get out.
They're a 110 win team, but they're a tier 5 stuck in the middle.
110 losses.
I have them at 80 and 82.
Oh, all right, so that's close. I have them at 79-83.
Okay, so moving on to the next team that you have here in the the tier 5 stuck in the middle teams, San Francisco Giants. They did finish 29 and 31 last season. They did add some bullpen depth to a very, very thin bullpen in Jake McGee. So Hoffy, why are the Giants stuck in the middle?
I mean they're going against the Warriors. In San Diego and LA Dodgers. They do have Kevin Gausman, Yastrzemski, a Boston guy, his grandfather at least. They're going to surprise some teams, but it's just going to be too tough for them to compete in the loaded West.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they added, Tommy La Stella. They've got Evan Longoria still there. Brandon Crawford is a very good shortstop, very underrated shortstop. Yastrzemski, like you mentioned, but they still got Buster Posey too and Brandon Belt. Now these are two veterans who, are still very good ball players.
Very solid defensively under the radar.
Yeah, this team is going to be good to watch, but they're not going to be good in the wins and loss column. Because of the West. I mean, look, the Dodgers and the Padres are just so good. They're going to beat up on the rest of the West. And, so I have no problem with the Giants in this tier because they do have the potential, but I agree they're probably stuck in the middle somewhere.
Do they have to make a move, Hoffy, before the trade deadline here in the 21 season to possibly get a push, or they're forever stuck in the middle?
I don't know if they're forever stuck in the middle, but this year they're definitely stuck in the middle. There's no way you're going to be able to compete with the Padres or the Dodgers. I just don't see that happening.
So let's say the Giants were in the NL Central here. Would they be competing then?
The NL Central, I could see it because the NL Central is going to be down offensively, and that's why I think the Giants are going to struggle. They're solid defensively, and they'll put up some runs, but they're not going to put the runs up that the Dodgers and the Padres can put up. So yeah, I think they'd be competitive in the NL Central, where it's going to be more so defense and pitching.
So Combs, let's say you are the manager of the Giants and the trade deadlines is coming up. Do you try to sign a big bat to make a push, or are you kind of happy just being
No,
third
I
seed in
think
the
they're
division?
kind of in that ballpark where we talked about earlier, is that they're just going to have to stand back and ride with what they have. And because you're not going to trade any of your talent in the minors to try and make a run for 1 year, they're not in that position, especially with the West being as good as it is. So I don't think that they make a trade. I think they stand back. If they make a trade, it's to sell. They're, whether they try to get Buster Posey, to chase a ring, or Brandon Belt to chase a ring, or even Brandon Crawford to chase a ring. Those are going to be those three trade pieces that are out there if they're performing well come the trade deadline.
So what you're saying is they need to get worse to get better in the coming years, right?
Yeah, they could trade those guys and get some pieces, and you can get some good pieces, especially if those guys are playing well and a contender needs them. So.
Okay, so the final team, Hoffy, that you have stuck in the middle here are the Miami Marlins. They went 31-29 last season. They did add Adam Duvall. They made the playoffs last season as well, and in the playoffs they did sweep the Chicago Cubs. So with that being said, why do you have them stuck in the middle?
There, huh? Dink.
We spoke earlier on their, the end of their season. I know they played, 30-something games in, 30-something days. So that was definitely tough on them. But I just think that their younger players outperformed. And I think we're going to see them come down to earth a little bit. But I believe they need, a catcher, some back-end bullpen to help those younger players. But all 5 starters, which I think they have one of the best young, pitching staffs in the game, they're all under 25. So I think that's that'll be the X factor on whether they can somewhat, be competitive. But again, they're going to be in the East with, the Mets, the Braves, the Nationals, and even we even spoke on the Phillies. So I think it's going to be too tough for Miami to compete this year.
So Combs, with the addition of Adam Duvall to their team, does it help them at all, or are they still kind of just a mediocre team still?
Look, I spoke on them a little bit earlier. I think that this team is one of those where I picked them at 79 wins, but they could easily go past. I mean, Sandy Alcantara and Sixto Sanchez are absolutely filthy in this rotation. They've got very live arms. They throw very hard, and their breaking stuff is just nasty. So I think they could be better than what anybody's thinking that they'll be. They could possibly make a run, but again, they are in a very stacked division. Much like we talked about with the San Francisco Giants, they're in a division where they've got to compete with the Braves, the Mets, the Phillies, and the Nationals. And all 4 of those teams are just stellar top to bottom. The rotation is nasty from 1 through 5. Their lineups are very good, 1 through 9. They have no holes. The Marlins, the Marlins have some ball players now. They've got I mentioned Alcantara and I mentioned Sixto Sanchez, but they've got Jesus Aguilar at first base. He's no chump. They've got Jazz Chisholm. They've got Brian Anderson, Miguel Rojas, Corey Dickerson, Adam Duvall, and Starlin Marte in the outfield. Like, this team has pieces and it has weapons. They could absolutely surprise some teams, and if they win one of these season series with the Mets or with the Phillies or with the Braves or something like that, like, they could absolutely come out and sneak in and maybe even find their way into a wild card position.
Hoffy, do you agree with Combs there at all?
No, I don't even have them at 500. I don't
have them at 500 either. That's what I said.
73 and 89. I think they're going to struggle this year.
I have them with 79 wins. I don't have them at 500 either. I'm not saying that. On paper, yes, I agree with you, but I'm not. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised because they do have ball players. They do have a lineup that can make some noise. If they're a buyer at the trade deadline because they are somewhere in this division or in a wild card, they could be a scary team.
All right, guys. So just to recap here, Hoffy's first 3 tiers coming off the board. Tier 7, basically this season is going to be a write-off. He has the Rockies, Rangers, the Pirates, and the Orioles. Tier 6 is just the teams that are a year away: the Seattle Mariners, the Royals, and the Tigers. And then the Tier 5 teams stuck in the middle: the Phillies, the Red Sox, Giants, and Miami. Combs, would you take any teams out those tiers and move them around, or are you pretty satisfied?
Yeah,
with
I'd put the Red Sox down in tier 9. And tier 9 is just get the hell out of here tier. I'd put them there. No, I'm just joking. No, I mean, I think we talked about, I think he's a little bit higher on the Red Sox than most are, but I mean, he's wearing their hat, so why wouldn't he be?
Right.
I'm a little bit higher on the Cubs than most people are, and look what hat I'm wearing.
Exactly. So homers, let's be honest. At the end of the day, you always root for your home team and kind of give them like a little bit of boost. So Hafi, thanks for joining us, man. You will be here for the rest of the week to cover your tier 4 through 1, all the way up till opening day, April 1st. Are you excited for opening day, Hafi?
Oh, I can't wait.
All right. So Combs, any closing thoughts before we head out, man?
Man, our nation, rise up.
There we go. And after show is live, man. Alrighty, Baseball Talk 101. How do you think that went?
Good. I really like the stuff Hafi brings. Really some good banter. And some of the things I agree with, some of the stuff, he comes off with, especially with the Red Sox. I mean, I think he's just, because of the Red Sox, and he's a fan.
Of course.
But yeah, no, I think it went great. Hafi's good shit.
Yeah, he's very, very knowledgeable in his sport. I'm glad we're gonna have him on once a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe more. Just depends on how things go.
So you want to hear my Easter joke?
Yes. I love the good jokes.
All right. So a guy and his wife, a very nagging, annoying wife that he has, is always on his case and always going at him. They're on vacation in Jerusalem, and she passes away. And the coroner says, look, we could either bury her here for $500, or we could send her home back to the States and bury her, but it's going to cost you over $35,000. And he goes, send her back to the States. And they go, but sir, we could bury her here and it'd only be $500. And he goes, nope. He's like, I once heard a story that a man died here. They buried him, and 3 days later he came back from the dead. And I don't want to take that chance. Send her back to the States.
Yeah, I freaking saw that on TikTok. I think it had me rolling, man. Oh,
I love that stuff.
Yeah, TikTok is it's good for the soul, man. That fucking what's his name? Jason Banks is that his name?
Oh man,
that dude has me rolling.
He kills me, man.
Has me rolling.
What was the one that I saw the other day? I said, what slide has killed more children than any other slide?
The throat or something.
Your throat.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So I told that joke to Michelle, and she was, her parents were in the room when I told the joke, and her mom was like, I didn't get it. So I was laughing hysterically at the joke as it is, but then the fact that Michelle had to sit there and explain it to her 73-year-old mother.
That's even more funny, right?
That made it even better for me. Like that was the thing that put it over the edge for me. So